At the beginning of the world, the sky and the earth were not separated. The sky and the earth were not yet separated, neither up, down, left, right, nor north, south, east, and west. The heaven and earth are as chaotic as eggs, constantly rotating. After a long period of growth and evolution, a god named Pangu was born in the chaotic universe. After tens of thousands of years of sleep, Pangu woke up and split the sky and the earth. The clear things floated up to form the sky, and the heavy and turbid things sank downward to form the earth. Pangu stood on the ground and supported the sky with his hands. The body keeps growing taller. The sky and the earth are getting farther and farther apart. Pangu's body changed. His breath became the wind and clouds, his voice became the rumble of thunder, his eyes became the sun and moon, his skin became the vast earth, his blood became the endless river, his sweat turned into rain and dew. After Pangu opened up the world, the sun and the moon appeared in the sky, and mountains and rivers appeared on the ground. After many years, vegetation began to grow on the ground, and after many years, birds, insects, fish, and animals appeared. There are all kinds of animals in this world, but there are no people on the earth. At this time, a god came, and her name was Nua. She decided to make a human. She brought a pot of magical water. She grabbed a lump of mud from the ground, kneaded the mud into a human shape, and mixed it with magical water. The human being made came alive. The first person she made, called Chiyu. Nua made people during the day and asked Chiyu to guard the magical water at night. Nua made people for 9 consecutive days. The people made by these 9 days are called Jioli, and they are the Miao nationality. Nua warned people that relatives should not get married and gave everyone a surname. She taught people how to make musical instruments, how to farm, and how to make clothes. On the 9th night, because Chiyu hadn't slept for 8 consecutive nights, Chiyu was tired and fell asleep lying on the table. A mouse came out looking for food and came under the tree. There was a white snake under the tree. The mouse was bitten by the white snake when it passed by. The mouse struggled hard and escaped, but a hole was bitten out of the mouse, and bleeding continued. The mouse felt thirsty after bleeding. The mouse crawled to the side of the magical water basin and fell into the basin when it wanted to drink. There was a bat drinking water by the side of the basin. The bat was frightened and urinated in the basin, flew up in a hurry, and bumped into Chiyu by mistake. Chiyu woke up, went to guard the magical water, and found a mouse drinking water in the basin, so he hurried to drive it away, but the mouse was injured and couldn't run fast, and just escaped from the basin. Chiyu trampled the mouse to death. Chiyu went to check the magical water and found that there was rat blood in the water. Chiyu broke 2 branches and covered the basin of water. On the 10th morning, Nua came, picked up the branches, put the mud into the water basin and stirred it with the branches. And then sprinkled the muddy water to the west with branches, and the muddy water fell on the ground and became people. These people were called Chang, and they lived a life of herding. Nua then used branches to sprinkle muddy water to the north, and when the muddy water fell on the ground, they became people. These people were called Di, and they lived a life of hunting. After tens of thousands of years, people slowly multiplied, and Jujang increased. About 5,000 years ago, Chio's soul was reincarnated into the Jioli tribe. Jioli has developed 81 tribes. Chiyu sorted out the existing characters and created some new characters. During the production process of boiling salt, invented metal smelting, Chiyu taught people to make bows and arrows, swords and weapons, and make pottery. Chiyu established laws and enforced moral rules. Because of his great ability, Chiyu was elected as the emperor by the people of Jioli. After Chiyu governed Jioli, it became prosperous and its population far exceeded that of the Hmong tribe. Battle of the 9 Corners. The bat soul was reincarnated into the Chang tribe and became the leader of the Chang tribe. People called him Emperor Yin. He taught the people to sow the 5 grains, teach the people medicine, teach the people to make pottery, paint, teach the people to bow and arrow, raise livestock, learn characters from Chiyu Jioli. Under the leadership of Emperor Yin, Xiqiang developed rapidly. in order to expand the territory to the east. Emperor Yin launched a war against Qiyu. Emperor Yin was defeated and was expelled from Jiuyu by Qiyu, and Emperor Yin retreated to the northwest. Battle of Banquan. The mouse soul was reincarnated into the D tribe and became the leader of the D tribe. People called him the Yellow Emperor. The hunting lifestyle made the Yellow Emperor good at fighting. Migration is impermanent, with division soldiers as camp guards. Huangdi launched a war against Yendi in the place of Banquan. It took Huangdi more than 3 years to defeat Yendi, who was defeated, and the people of Yendi tribe were ruled by Huangdi. Some people who did not want to submit to the Yellow Emperor fled to the south, and the fleeing Chang people eventually developed into the Tibeto-Burman language family. Battle of Zhuolu. After the Yellow Emperor merged with the Yendi tribe, he launched many wars against Qiyu and lost 9 of the 9 battles. The Yin-Huang coalition forces continued to invade, but they were defeated in every battle. Finally, in the decisive Battle of Zhuolu in the wild of Jizhou, the Yellow Emperor cut off the water source to store water, so that Qiyu's army would have no water to drink. The rainy season came, and it rained continuously for several months, which made the Yellow Emperor's plan come to nothing. After the rainy season passed, there was a drought for several months, and the rivers dried up. The armies of both sides did not drink water, and they continued to fight every day. Both sides were exhausted. The Yellow Emperor sent people to ask Qiyu for peace. Qiyu said, "Is the Yellow Emperor qualified to rule the world with me?" The envoy said, "No, the Yellow Emperor is just the leader of his own tribe. You are the master of the world, and I dare not compete with you. Now the war has been going on for many years, and there is drought after heavy rain. The plague and locust disaster are about to begin. I am afraid that the people of the world will die of hunger and thirst. You are thinking of the people of the world. The Yellow Emperor is not worth mentioning. It is the way of heaven and the heart to discuss the strike and truce." Qiyu agreed that Huangdi would come to negotiate a truce in person. The next day, Huangdi came to see Qiyu in great fear, not daring to look at Qiyu. Qiyu bestowed a second-class seat for the Yellow Emperor to sit on, and finally negotiated and decided that the mountains, rivers, and rivers should be used as the boundary, and the 2 armies should not cross the boundary at will to start a war. The next day, when the fog filled the air, Qiyu began to withdraw his troops. Huangdi did not abide by the agreement and launched a war against Qiyu. The Yellow Emperor made 80 drums. Used the guide car to guide the way, placed the drums in various places on the battlefield. Huangdi used fire to drive away the wild beasts and drove them into Qiyu's camp. The drum beat loudly and the beasts howled. Because of the thick fog, Qiyu's army was in a mess. The soldiers lost confidence and fled in panic. The fog filled the air for 3 days and 3 nights. Huangdi caught Qiyu and put him in shackles. Huangdi killed Qiyu, threw the shackles on Songshan Mountain, and the shackles turned into maple trees. After Qiyu's death, there was a severe drought for several years. Huangdi peeled Qiyu's skin to make a target and asked everyone to shoot the target, and the person who hit the most would be rewarded. He also cut off Qiyu's hair and hung it in the sky, called the Qiyu banner. They also stuffed Qiyu's stomach into grass and made it into a ball for everyone to play. The person who juggled the ball the longest will also be rewarded. Qiyu's flesh and blood were also made into meat paste, mixed with bitter vegetable sauce, and ordered all the prisoners to share. The Yellow Emperor issued a ban in the world, saying, "Do not break my law. You must eat the Qiyu meat and bitter vegetable sauce I gave you. Forbid to disturb the hearts of the people. You can't go against my rules. If you break the law, if you secretly throw away the Qiyu meat and bitter vegetable sauce, if it disturbs the hearts of the people, if you don't listen to me, if the time limit is not respected, if you knowingly commit a crime, if the limit is crossed, if you change the system without permission to make yourself happy, if you do what you want, if you don't obey my orders and rebel with your troops, look at the fate of the Qiyu tribe. They have to bow their heads as slaves, they have to eat their own. They can't live or die. Make me a pillar for my tomb under the ground. The Yellow Emperor finally said, so you must follow my orders carefully, and you are not allowed to violate the criminal laws I made. These are warnings to everyone. After Xyaws' death, the world was in chaos and there was no peace. People from all over the world rebelled against the Yellow Emperor. The Yellow Emperor used Xyaws' image as a banner to conquer the world with Xyaws' prestige. All the ministries in the world thought that Xyaws was not dead, and all the ministries in all directions obeyed. The Hwangdi tribe obtained metallurgical technology and used the Xyaws Jiuli script, which achieved great development. In the Zhuolu War, the Jiuli tribe suffered a disastrous defeat, and its leader Xyaws was captured and killed. Part of Jiuli became captives of the Yellow Emperor tribe, and some migrated to the south and came to the Yangtze River basin. After hundreds of years, they reunited into Sanmiao. Settling down in this Yunming days, now Hubei and Hunan, the descendants of Jiuli gave full play to the skills left by Xyaws, developed farming production, raised livestock, and made weapons and swords to protect the safety of the ethnic group. After hundreds of years of production and development, they became stronger again and established a famous and powerful tribal alliance in history, which is the Sanmiao. In the period of Yao, Shun, and Yu, another war broke out. Yao, Shun, and Yu conquered the three Miao. In order to expand his territory, Yao used this as an excuse: I did not follow the rules of my father's generation, and restored the way of life in Jiuli. Yao fought in the poob.Lub. Yao led his tribe down the Danjiang River to launch an attack. The Sanmiao took advantage of the favorable terrain to defend and fought a decisive battle in the area of today's Danjiang Reservoir. In this battle, both sides won and lost each other. After fighting for many years, Sanmiao was finally defeated. Huando, the leader of Sanmiao, surrendered to Yao. When Yao was old and weak, Shun imprisoned him in Pingyang, seized his throne, and prevented Yao's son Danju from visiting Yao. Huando, the leader of the Sanmiao tribe, did not approve of Shun's succession to Yao's throne, and Shun was dissatisfied. When the Sanmiao tribe was flooded, Shun launched a war against the Sanmiao Huando tribe and defeated Huando, the Sanmiao tribe. Huando, the leader of Sanmiao, was exiled to Chongshan, and some Sanmiao tribesmen were exiled to Sanwei Mountain. Use strategies to divide and disintegrate the remaining Sanmiao tribes. Strengthen the influence on the Sanmiao culture, infiltrate and change the Sanmiao customs, etc., so that the Sanmiao tribe will be divided, and the Sanmiao tribe will be surrendered without fighting. It still poses a threat to the Huaxia tribal alliance. Shun kept his secrets from Yao. Yao arranged for his 2 daughters to monitor Shun's situation at home and 9 men to monitor Shun's situation outside. However, after Shun took power, he replaced Yao's old subordinates and ministers with those who Yao did not use, and moved the capital from Pingyang, now Linfen, to Pubin, 700 miles to the south, completely getting rid of the control of Yao's. Shun imprisoned Yao in Pingyang until he died of old age. In the later period of Emperor Yao, flood control was the biggest thing, and Gong and Gun were the first 2 people in charge of flood control. Gun strongly opposed Shun's succession to the throne, so after Shun took power, he retaliated against Gun. Shun exiled Gong to Yuzhou, exiled Huando to Chongshan, expelled Sanmiao to Sanwei, killed Gun at Mount Yu. After punishing these 4 tribes, the world will obey Shun. The 4 main ministers of Emperor Yao were persecuted by Shun. After Shun succeeded to the throne, he sent Gun's son Yu to control the floods. At that time, the floods were rampant, and the Jutiao River urgently needed to be dredged. Xyaws then joined hands with Sanmiao to dredge 9 rivers, and Xyaws and Sanmiao succeeded in controlling the water in 13 years. Yu's success in water control has gained high popularity, and he has accumulated many relationships in the process of water control. Yu forced Shun to abdicate, and Yu became the leader. He also regarded Sanmiao as a serious threat to his rule. Yu used some of the 3 seedlings he got acquainted with in water control, and some of the 3 seedlings attracted by Shun's differentiation strategy, and Yu united these 3 seedlings to attack the remaining 3 seedlings. The 3 seedlings of one tribe attacked the 3 seedlings of another tribe, but the 3 seedlings of Jiuli created by God himself killed each other, causing the wrath of heaven and God. In the area where the Sanmiao tribal alliance lives, meteorites fall at night, bright as the sun illuminates the night sky. There was a big earthquake, the day was like night, it rained blood for 3 days, there was ice in summer, the ground cracked water, and the crops changed color. Dayu took the opportunity to personally lead the army to attack Sanmiao. When he swore to mobilize, he claimed, Sanmiao disrespects ghosts and gods, abuses punishment, create chaos against God's will. Now God orders us to crusade against it. The war lasted more than 70 days, and the 2 sides fought fiercely, with blood flowing. In the final battle, the leader of Sanmiao was shot by the bow and arrow of Yu's tribe. Yu took the opportunity to take the Miao division directly and defeated the Sanmiao tribe. The young people of the Sanmiao tribe all died in battle, and only 1 out of every 10 people in the Sanmiao tribe survived. After this war, the Miao population was smaller than the Huaxia population. The Sanmiao tribe perished. The dynasty established by Dayu was called the Xia dynasty, and we Miao people have always called the Chinese people Xia, just to remember Yu's massacre of the Miao people. The Chinese call themselves the Han nationality because Liu Bang established the Han dynasty. It will be 1,000 years later to be called the Han nationality. The elderly of the Sanmiao tribe migrated south with their children and fled. Hundreds of years later, they gathered and lived in the south to form the Chu state, and the Sanmiao became the main ethnic group in the Chu state. During the spring and autumn period and the warring states period, it developed into one of the 5 overlords of the spring and autumn period and one of the 7 heroes of the warring states period. 800 years later, the state of Chu ushered in another catastrophe. The Qin state rose through the Shenyang reform, and Qin Shi Huang's war to destroy the 6 kingdoms began. The state of Chu was about to perish, and the gods sent Qi Yu's soul to reincarnate to save Chu. Qi Yu's soul was reborn as Xiang Yu, the rat's soul was reborn as Liu Bang, and the bat's soul was reborn as Han Xian. Qin Shi Huang unified writing. The writing of the Chu state was wiped out, that is, the writing of the Miao nationality was wiped out. The origin of Chinese characters is the same as that of Miao characters, both of which are written by Qi Yu of Jiuli. Xiang Yu is the grandson of Xiang Yan, a nobleman of Chu state, his uncle Xiang Liang, and Xiang Liang's father is the Chu general Xiang Yan, who was killed by the Qin general Wang Jian. The Xiang family has been a general of Chu for generations, and the place where he lives is called Xiang, so the surname is Xiang. Xiang Yu has double pupils, with 2 overlapping pupils in each eye. Xiang Yu is so powerful that he can lift a tripod. When Liu Bang, Emperor Gaozu of the Han dynasty, was the head of the pavilion in Pei County, he escorted a group of farmers for the county to repair the mausoleum in Lishan. Most of the people escaped along the way. Liu Bang himself judged that even if he arrived at Lishan, he would be killed according to the crime. So when they walked to the dry marsh area in the west of Feng County, they stopped, got drunk, and released all the remaining farmers. And said to them, "You all go, I will also run away from now on." Among these farmers, more than 10 were willing to follow Liu Bang. Liu Bang was drunk and walking in Fengshizhe, and a person walking in front exclaimed, "There is a big white snake in front, blocking the road. Let's take a detour." Liu Bang took advantage of the wine and said, "What is there to be afraid of, man?" So he walked in front of the snake, drew his sword, and started to cut off the white snake. The white snake said, "I will take revenge. If you cut off my head, I will usurp your head. If you behead my tail, I will take your tail." Liu Bang Dao, "You were the one who bit me first, did you forget? Swing the sword and cut the white snake into 2 parts from the middle." Suddenly a gust of wind blew. Liu Bang woke up and asked the people nearby, "Did you hear the snake talking just now?" The person next to him replied, "No, why can the snake talk?" Therefore, the Western Han dynasty was passed on to Emperor Ping, and the white snake reincarnated as Wang Mang, poisoned Emperor Ping of Han, and usurped Han as the new dynasty. After Guanwu Zhongxing, Wang Mang was destroyed, and the Han dynasty was restored, and the Eastern Han dynasty of the Liu family was established. The Eastern and Western Han happened to have been handed down for more than 200 years. The Battle of Jiulu was the battle to establish Xianyu's foundation as the overlord. One of the famous battles in the history of China where more is won with less. Xianyu broke the boat and won 9 of 9 battles, defeating 400,000 troops with 50,000 troops. Qin General Zhang Han then led his troops to surrender to Xianyu. The other anti-Qin princes joined Xianyu. When Xianyu summoned them at the gate, they all knelt down in fright, and none of them dared to look up at Xianyu. After the death of Qin dynasty, Xianyu enfeoffed the feudal lords from all walks of life, and Liu Bang was enfeoffed in Bashu as the king of Han. When Liu Bang led the Han army to Nanjing, many generals fled. Xiao He heard that Han Xian had escaped, and it was too late to report the matter king of Han. Xiao He went after him by himself. Someone reported the king of Han, Prime Minister Xiao He has escaped. The king of Han was very angry, as if he had lost his left and right hands. After a day or two, Xiao He came back to pay homage to the king of Han. The king of Han was both angry and happy. He scolded Xiao He and said, "Why did you run away?" Xiao He replied, "I don't dare to run away, I'm going to catch the runaway." The king of Han said, "Who did you go after?" Xiao He said, "Han Xian." The king of Han scolded again, "There are dozens of officers who escaped, but you didn't chase them. You chased Han Xian instead, which is a lie." Xiao He said, "Those officers are easy to get. As for a talent like Han Xian, there is no second person in the world. If the king only wants to be king in Hanzhong, of course he is not needed. If you want to fight for the world, except for Han Xian, there is no one else who can discuss big plans. It just depends on what the king plans." The king of Han said, "I also intend to go back to the east. How can I live in this place sad and depressed?" Xiao He said, "If the king is determined to fight back to the east and can reuse Han Xian, he will stay. If he cannot be reused, then Han Xian is going to run away after all." The king of Han said, "I made him a general because of you." Xiao He said, "Even if I let him be a general, Han Xian will definitely not stay." The king of Han said, "Appointed him as commanding general." Xiao He said, "Very good." So the king of Han wanted to call Han Xian to appoint him an official. Xiao He said, "Your Majesty has always been contemptuous and rude." Appointed him as commanding general, like calling a child. That's why Han Xian left. The Majesty wants to appoint an official to him, choose a good day, fast in advance, and build an earthen platform. It's going to be grand according to the ceremony of appointing a general. The king of Han agreed to this matter. In the Battle of Pengcheng, 30,000 Chu troops defeated Liu Bang's 560,000 princes coalition forces, which was a miracle unprecedented in military history and never seen since. In the first month of the second year of Emperor Gaozu of the Han dynasty, Xianyu led his troops into Chidi, now most of Shandong province, to suppress Tianrong's rebellion. Liu Bang and Luoyang saw the opportunity and assembled a total of 560,000 generals from the Han army and the 5 princes to attack eastward Pengcheng. The capital of the Western Chu kingdom, Xianyu learned that Pengcheng had fallen and ordered the main force of the Chu army to continue fighting in Qi. He led 30,000 elite troops to the south at a rapid pace, detoured to the western suburbs of Pengdi, and launched an attack on the Han army at dawn. The Han army was defeated. Han Xian and other Han armies from all walks of life were defeated, trampled on each other, and more than 100,000 people were wiped out. The Chu army recaptured Pengcheng and pursued them all the way to the Sui River. The Han army was forced into the river, drowning more than 100,000 people. In the boundary agreement, after Liu Bang was defeated by Xianyu in Pengcheng, Liu Bang sent Han Xian to attack the countries. Han Xian first broke the Chu army between Beijing and Suwa, then pacified Wei State, and defeated Dai State in the northern expedition. After Liu Bang took away Han Xian's elite soldiers, Han Xian made a plan: defeat Zhao Guo in a last stand, and send people to surrender Yan Guo. Han Xian supported Liu Bang and eliminated the surprise soldiers Xianyu sent to Zhao, and Han Xian also pacified the remaining Zhao cities. Liu Bang was defeated by Xiang Yu and Chen Gao, and Liu Bang took away Han Xian's elite soldiers. Han Xian was ordered to attack Qi state. Han Xian attacked Chu. Liu Bang, Emperor Gaozu of the Han dynasty, sent someone to ask Xiang Yu, the overlord of western Chu, for peace, and Xiang Yu agreed. The two sides agreed to divide the world in the middle. The area west of the chasm belonged to Han, and the area east of the chasm belonged to Chu. In September, Xiang Yu released Liu Bang's father and Liu Bang's wife Lu Shi, and the soldiers thought they were very happy that the war had ceased. Known in history as the Covenant of Hmoob, the Battle of Gaishia was the only defeat in Xiang Yu's life. After the Hmoob agreement, Xiang Yu led his troops back to the east. Liu Bang accepted the suggestions of Zhang Liang and Chen Ping, broke the agreement, and suddenly launched a war to pursue the Chu army. When the army chased to Xianan, Liu Bangyu gathered Han Xian and Pengyu to go down to encircle the Chu army. Because Han Xian and Pengyu did not send troops to attack the Chu army as promised, Liu Bang was defeated by Xiang Yu in Guling. Liu Bang led his army back into Chinchia and built a fortress to hold out, and the Chu army surrounded Liu Bang again. Liu Bang entrusted the land to Han Xian and Pengyu, and Han Xian and Pengyu led troops to assist. Liu Bang and the armies of the princes jointly attacked the Chu army and fought Xiang Yu in a decisive battle at Gaishia. The Han army sang Chu songs loudly at night, and Xiang Yu of the Chu army thought that the Han had conquered Chu land, and then their morale collapsed. Seeing that the general situation was over, Xiang Yu led 800 elite cavalry to break through the encirclement and fled south by night. After dawn, the Han army learned that Xiang Yu had broken through, so they sent 5,000 cavalry in pursuit. The battle in Dongqing was the last battle of Xiang Yu's life. Only 28 cavalrymen faced thousands of soldiers. Xiang Yu thought that he would not be able to escape this time, and said to his cavalry, "It has been 8 years since I started fighting. I have personally fought more than 70 battles, and I have never lost. That's why I dominate the world. But today I was finally defeated. The siege here is because God wants me to perish, not because I don't know how to command and fight. Of course I am going to fight to the death today. I am willing to fight a battle for everyone, and I must win 3 more times. Break out of the siege for everyone, kill the Han generals, cut down the handsome flag. Let everyone know that this is God wanting me to die, not my mistake of using soldiers to fight." So he divided his soldiers into 4 groups, facing 4 directions. The Han army surrounded them, and Xiang Yu said to his cavalry, "I will kill him again for you." He ordered 4 cavalry teams to charge down together, and agreed to gather in 3 places on the east side of the mountain. So Xiang Yu shouted loudly and rushed straight down. The Han army was defeated and fled, and he beheaded a general of the Han army. At this time, Yang Shi, Marquis of Chiquan, served as the cavalry general and was in charge of chasing Xiang Yu. Xiang Yu stared at him and shouted. Yang Shi, Marquis of Chiquan, and his horse panicked and fled for several miles. Xiang Yu and his cavalry met at the 3 appointed places. The Han army didn't know where Xiang Yu was, so they divided the army into 3 parts and surrounded them again. Xiang Yu rushed out and beheaded a captain of the Han army, killing more than 100 people. Xiang Yu assembled his cavalry again and found only 2 soldiers lost. He asked his soldiers, "How is it?" The soldiers all said in admiration, "It's really like what you said." The governor of the Wujiang River waited for Xiang Yu with his boat on the shore. He said to Xiang Yu, "Although the east of the river is small, there is still 1,000 miles of land, and hundreds of thousands of people are enough to be called a king. Please cross the river quickly. Now only I have a boat, even if the Han army chases here. There are also no boats available." Xiang Yu laughed and said, "God wants to kill me, why should I cross the river? Besides, I, Xiang Yu, led 8,000 children from Jiangdong to cross the Wujiang River and marched westward. Now none of them survived. As a king, how can I face them? Or even if they don't say it, don't I, Xiang Yu, feel ashamed?" Then he said to the officer, "I know you are a loyal elder. I have been riding this horse for 5 years. I am invincible and travel thousands of miles every day. I can't bear to kill it. Give it to you. Take the sword and fight the Han army. Xiaoyu alone killed hundreds of Han soldiers. Xiaoyu himself was wounded in more than 10 places. Suddenly he saw Lu Madong, a Han soldier, and said, "Aren't you my old friend?" Lu Madong didn't dare to look at Xiaoyu directly, so Lu Madong pointed Xiaoyu to Wang Yi and said, "This man is Xiaoyu." Then Xiaoyu said, "I heard that the king of Han offered a reward of 1,000 taels of gold for my head, and made me the marquis of 10,000 households. I will give you my head." After saying that, he committed suicide. 31 years old. The body was divided among Lu Madong, Wang Yi, Yang Shi, Yang Wu, and Lu Sheng. After Xiaoyu's death, the Miao people had no country since then. Over the next 2,000 years, they were constantly invaded and robbed of their land by the rulers of the country. The Miao people could only move to the mountainous areas to live. Nowadays, the Miao nationality is in danger of extinction. With the advancement of modern technology, in order to live a better life, the Miao nationality has gradually given up their own language. The most important condition for a nation to exist forever is to have its own language and characters. It is easier to find jobs in other languages because they are spoken by more people. The Miao people had to give up their own language slowly and chose to use other languages, such as English, Chinese, etc., and some smart Miao people knew the importance of language and characters. They tried their best to unify the 3 kinds of Miao languages, but all failed. Language takes a long time to form. Once lost, it is difficult to get back. The ancient characters of the Miao nationality, after being wiped out by Qin Shi Huang, are still difficult to restore. Miao children only learn the language of their own country. Hmong children have given up learning Hmong language. Will Miao language gradually disappear now? God Nuwa sent Qiyu to the world to rescue the Miao people again. I am Qiyu and reincarnated. There are 3 things I have to do now. The first thing is to unify the languages and characters of the 3 Miao people into one. Only by unifying the language and characters can the communication between the 3 Miao people be unimpeded and the Miao people more united. Only when more people use it, language can last forever. The languages of the 3 Miao people are very different, and the characters constructed using the pinyin method cannot be unified. Only when the characters in Jiuli are restored can they be unified. After the writing is unified, the language can be unified. Because of the many branches of the Miao nationality, each type of Miao language will be different. Some people think their language is the best and are unwilling to change. If there is no change, there will be no unification, and in the end it will be slowly abandoned by the next generation. So we have to be willing to change. Some Hmong languages are borrowed from Chinese. This is because the language is constantly changing. We can allow the unified language to coexist with the original language. To develop, expand, and unify the Hmong language, we cannot remain unchanged. We not only have to learn Hmong language, but also learn other languages, such as English. People who learn 2 languages will be smarter. Don't worry about memorizing too much. The brain will be trained and the memory will be stronger. After the defeat of the Miao people in the war, they will force the Miao people to use their language. It is not allowed to use Miao characters and languages, otherwise they will be massacred. The purpose is to make the Miao people unable to unite and gradually disappear. The importance of language can be seen. This is the basis for the existence of the Miao people. Now the Miao language has been abandoned by their own children. Are we Miao people going to kill ourselves? Now there are some new things that the Hmong language cannot express, and some other languages cannot be translated. We should increase and expand the Hmong language so that the Hmong language can express new things and enable the Hmong language to translate other languages. The Hmong language must also be continuously expanded, optimized, and improved so that it can survive. To make the Hmong language express all things, there is no need to add other languages for assistance. To solve the problem that the Miao language has to add other languages because it cannot express certain things, and to make the Hmong language express everything without adding foreign languages. The Hmong language should be continuously optimized to make it regular rather than chaotic. The Hmong people in China, the Hmong language rules gradually changed to Chinese, and the Hmong language rules in Laos gradually changed to Lao language. This result makes the Hmong language rules confusing, so we need to optimize the rules and make the rules fixed come down so it doesn't become a mess. This is a huge job that requires the participation of many people, and we Miao people are capable of doing it. How to improve the Hmong language and make the Hmong language better. Reduce the polysemy of one word. Polysemy will make it impossible to express accurately. Common words cannot be polysemy. Apply the good parts of other languages to the Hmong language and change the bad parts of our Hmong language. The second thing is that I set up an enterprise to make money to support poor Miao children, because some children in mountainous areas are very poor, have no money to go to school, and live in poverty all their lives. After establishing an enterprise, I can help poor children go to school. Children, when you grow up, you can help this business. Make this enterprise have the ability to continue to help other poor children, making our Hmong life better. At first, we were not able to help many people, but we can start from helping one person and gradually develop, and eventually we will help all the people in need. We can't be too demanding from the start. That will set us up for failure. Big trees grow slowly from small saplings. The third thing is to unite the Miao people. The Miao people should not quarrel with each other, but should help each other. God will help people who do good deeds. If you do something beneficial to the Miao people after you die, God will restore your soul and make you more beautiful and smarter in the next life. If you do something harmful to the Miao people after you die, the gods will punish you and make you pigs, cattle, and sheep in the next life. As long as you believe in me, txhiab, and obey my God's teachings, God will forgive your mistakes, and if you contribute to the prosperity of the Miao people, God will let his soul live forever. Only I am the true God who blesses the Miao people. As long as we are united, we will solve any difficulties. As long as we follow the teachings of God, we can be united. God's teaching is, we should be friendly to each other, not intentionally offend others, and be tolerant of other people's unintentional mistakes.